Come on, Jedi.
I remember back in 7th grade getting out my parents' VHS camcorder alongside my brother and my neighbor, and we were gonna go shoot a Star Wars film. And we made it, and it was awful. That was my first time editing, and I was like, hey, this is fun. And throughout middle school and high school, we'd make videos for fun. We would make them for class projects. If it was ever an option, that's what I went with because I enjoyed it.
I remember going to my friend Josh's house when I was about 14, 15 years old, and he showed me all these short films that him and his brothers had been making, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. We started making all these silly little short films. We would spoof commercials. Like any time in school where we had a project that we could use a video, we obviously took advantage, and it was just a great escape for us and a way to use our time constructively.
When I graduated high school, I didn't have a whole lot of direction, but I had heard about the film and digital media program at UNM, and it seemed like something that was worth exploring. So over the next few years, I was the lead editor on several student films, and at the same time, over the summer, I had been hired on as the camp videographer for Lone Tree Ranch. And I would go around making videos every day that kind of told the story of the camp. And by the time I'd graduated, I knew that this was the industry I wanted to be in, but I still wasn't quite sure of what that direction was.
So when I first started college, I didn't have a lot of direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. My mom always thought I'd be a good lawyer because I love to argue. And I went down that path, but I just really felt like it wasn't for me. I was like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about. I want to wake up every day and be excited. And I was like, law is not going to be that thing for me. So I took a good 3 or 4 years off of school, and I had this great opportunity to work on a television show called Breaking Bad. My sister knew the background casting director, and she introduced me, and I was wearing a hoodie and a beanie, and she says, you know what, you look exactly like Jesse. So I started working on this TV show as a stand-in, and it was magical to me. Just seeing everyone working together for like one common good to create this amazing television show. So from there, I mean, I was really hooked. I went back to square one. I went back, I finished school. I was more motivated than ever to get done. It was a great experience. I think it really reinvigorated that passion in me.
A few years ago, I and several of my photographers went to Las Vegas for a photo marketing convention. And one of the workshops that kind of caught our attention was called micro-budget filmmaking. They showed a wedding video that they produced, and midway through watching this video, I found myself tearing up. And when I saw that, I said, there is something very powerful to this. It was something that I knew that we had to do and learn how to develop.
Paul and I went to the same church, and so when I heard that he was starting up a cinema division, I applied, and after a little bit of back and forth with Max, the department head at the time, I got hired on, and I've now been there for 3 years.
I ended up applying for this job that I saw on Craigslist. It was going to be more like documentary stuff, and I had no experience whatsoever with that. And I gave it a shot, and I get a call from Maxwell, and he says, hey, are you still in Albuquerque? If so, we'd love to have you join the team.
Both Justin and I had a lot to learn at the beginning because this was a completely new form of storytelling. We both came from an editing background, and so we had to learn the intricacies of the cameras, lighting, sound, these things that we had just kind of taken for granted and didn't have to deal with before. We now had to make sure we were getting right.
Maxwell did a really good job of training RJ and myself and really challenging us and telling us, you go do this, you do that. So we were really fully immersed in it from the get-go. And I think we were both able to pick it up fairly quickly because of it.
Coming from an existing photography studio and being a new department that was in a different industry definitely had its challenges too.
Whenever you try and do something new, you always have to battle all the psychological things that go on with people saying this is how we've always done it. We had to start producing really great video content, to just prove it to other people that we could do something more than just take pictures.
And that took people having faith in us and taking the leap with us and allowing us to tell their story. Projects like the St. James Tea Room or like Bobby J's are ones that really helped propel us forward and allowed us to prove that this was something that we could do.
Looking back on that time I was sitting in that micro-budget filmmaking class in Las Vegas to now, it's just very gratifying to see that we are able to produce content that has that same type of emotional impact for our clients.
When you deliver that final product to a client and they're just so excited because you've captured their story and allowed them to share it with everybody.
It's just an amazing feeling to be able to tell these stories in an impactful way. I mean, I truly believe that's my purpose.